is the meeting of the calendar committee. So the first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of our February 23rd meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Been moved and second. Any correction to the minutes? Excuse me. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Public comments. Any public comment on any agenda item? Anyone care to make any comments?
Yes,
please.
Little and micro languages. I would like to know what's the status of this plan of cutting the winter intersection, because we're all very concerned, and we feel like the faculty really doesn't have any input. I already explained the reasons about my department in a letter to the faculty association. And I believe that the cut of the winter intersection is detrimental to the students, and both the students and the faculty, because the students can take classes, requirement courses like English, math, and science during the winter that they can't take during the regular semester because the classes are always full. It took us 2 years of negotiations to come to this calendar. And now I feel like instead of moving forward, we're going backwards. So I would like to know what's the logic behind. Because like right now we would have only 3 weeks, 3 weeks between the fall and the spring with this new calendar. And then we have this huge gap of 4 months in the summer. And I already, as it is, I spend my first week in the fall to review all the material, because the students forget after 2 months. And with this huge gap of 4 months, it's going to be even worse.
Okay. Well, I would appreciate the concern. I will respond to that by saying the calendar committee has not recommended, and it's charge of this committee to recommend to College Council a calendar for the 2012-2013 academic year. The recommendation that the committee has taken up discussion at this point is not a recommendation of a calendar that would exclude a winter session. So this committee has not discussed or is planning to recommend to College Council and ultimately to the Board of Trustees a calendar which would eliminate the winter intersession. So the winter intersession, as far as the committee is concerned, is still in place.
So you're saying then the decision is going to be up to the college, to the Board of Trustees?
No.
Not exactly.
Okay, what I'm saying is the calendar committee, the charge of this committee, we are recommending a calendar, and it's on the agenda, the next agenda item. We're recommending a calendar to go forward to College Council for approval and ultimately to the Superintendent President and the Governing Board, which would include a winter intersession for 2013. So in other words, there would be no change to the academic calendar. Discussions about whether or not the college moves to a academic calendar at some point in the future, which would eliminate the intersession, what has been articulated as a tri-semester. Those are discussions that will be had at another level through our shared governance process. And ultimately, if that is agreed to, then that will come back to this committee to determine how we place the operational dates within that calendar. So again, the calendar committee has not made any decision, and it's not our recommendation to go forward with a calendar for 12-13, which would eliminate the winter intersession. Okay.
You should also know that any change in the calendar, in the schedule of intersessions is a negotiable issue. We'll go to collective bargaining and be fully vetted in front of the entire faculty.
Okay, so it will be how?
Oh, so it's probably too late for the change.
Could I ask a question about the extra week in summer?
Well, if we fully address, does that answer your question?
Yes, so in case this is gonna come up again, then all the faculty will be involved, right?
Yes, if it comes up again, if we move to a different calendar, if it is an option, it has to be fully vetted and it has to be fully discussed with the faculty. And so it will go through that process. And then if it goes through that process and it is decided through a shared governance discussion that we're going to move to a different calendar, then that decision would come back to this committee to determine what would be the operational dates beginning and ending of academic periods within that calendar framework.
So this is just a draft, but not for next year then?
I'm not really sure. What
No,
you-
she's talking about this second one.
The session less, winter session.
Yes, that is just a draft form, okay? And what we're going to
No,
be
she's asking this for next year, next academic year, or 2013-14, because they have 2012-13.
that was a previous draft for the 2012-2013 academic year, which was drafted by the calendar committee last year, prior to this committee adjourning this year. What we'll undertake for discussion when we get to item number 4 is exactly what academic calendar we're going to recommend. This committee is going to recommend the College Council. So yes, what you're looking at is in fact a draft.
Dr. Bell, am I allowed to have a question at this time?
Yes. You might as well.
Okay. Why did the administration submit to the Board of Trustees a calendar absent the winter intersession, claiming that it came from the calendar committee, when it had not even been discussed at any level by the faculty as something that they're going to negotiate?
I was on the calendar committee also Louis here. He came, the president came and outlined this, but there was no discussion or no agreement. He spent the hour, elaborating.
Well, what has been recommended by the administration, excuse me, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, something wrong with this voice today. What's been recommended by the administration to the Board of Trustees actually is part of the sunshining of
Yes.
the,
I understand.
so it's part of that.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can't speak exactly why it was indicated in there that the trimester came from the calendar committee.
Mhm.
I do know that members have mentioned the fact that that was not a recommendation from the committee. It was a discussion that was held by Dr. Rocha last year, during the last academic year, with the committee for the discussion of the possibility of going to a tri-semester. Emanating out of those discussions was the draft that was developed, potential draft that was developed that had a 2012-2013 academic calendar without a winter intersession. So that was in fact a misquote to say that it came from the calendar committee, because that is not correct.
It's on the total transparency webpage also. It also says that it came from the calendar committee. Has that been corrected?
No, it hasn't.
Has it been?
Then if it's if the committee is comfortable with it, I'll ensure that that change is made. And I apologize for that error, but that was a mistake.
Well, I was just going to say, apparently it was put in there, someone tried to excerpt something from the minutes that was not addressing that. It was just a question that came after that if that happened, what day would be the first day, but it wasn't, you did not vote anything about it. It was just, someone excerpted something in the minutes that was made an inaccurate statement or something. Safest way to put that?
And this sort of dovetailed two previous discussions, the calendar committee of last year and the current calendar committee, and it sort of dovetailed two discussions that we have, all of which were hypothetical discussions, if you will. Nothing was in fact recommended from this committee, College Council, to the superintendent president for a 2012-2013 calendar, which would eliminate the winter intersession.
Right, that's my understanding.
And that's my understanding. And I have shared that with Dr. Rocha, so again, that is a misstatement. We will correct it, and all those are those areas where it's transparent. Okay. There was a question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This has nothing to do with winter intersection though.
Okay.
I became alarmed yesterday when one of my colleagues pointed out that our summer schedule has been changed, and actually what I understood yesterday was that because the summer has an extra week, so the fall semester is going to be pushed 1 week later, and I thought I would have to work through Christmas just to get the grades in. But this calendar doesn't show that though, so I'm just making sure that the extra week is from summer itself, right? The fall semester doesn't change. Is that
No,
correct?
it's on the 26th or something.
The
27, 27.
you're speaking of the fall 13.
Yes.
I'm sorry, fall 2012. Excuse me.
Yes.
The fall 2012.
Mhm.
I get my dates confused as well. So the question is whether or not the fall 2012.
It's going to be changed just because of the extra week between spring and
No,
summer.
no,
No.
just one less week at the end.
So basically,
One week
it's
before and 3
one
weeks
less
after.
week in the end of summer,
Yes.
That's
not
correct.
pushing the fall semester. Okay,
No.
yeah, that's all.
Okay, no, the
Thank
fall
you.
semester not changed. You're welcome.
Dr. Wood, just real quick, I'm looking at this proposed changed calendar, not the one that looks just like this year. Are you intending 2 summer intersessions in this calendar?
Which calendar?
The proposed one with the end date for the spring semester of May 5th.
That's the no winter intercession calendar.
Yeah, yeah. Just one suggestion, it would be really nice to be able to see under this calendar what the fall of 2013 would look like. I know that's not the way we lay out our calendars normally, but there's plenty of room for 2 summer intersessions, so I'm just wondering what the intent is.
Rod, are you looking at the one in the upper left-hand corner that's headed up no winter intersection?
Yes.
Okay. Again, that's the calendar, which was a proposed calendar coming out of the previous calendar committee. That is not under consideration for this group.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is just being handed out for,
It was for reference for the committee because there's been this confusion about whether or not we were or were not recommending a 2012-2013 calendar with a winter intercession. Okay.
Okay.
And again, the committee.
and this shows what that would look like.
What it would look like, but again.
But to really understand this change in the calendar, you kind of need to have one more column in it that shows us in how we get into the fall of 2013.
Yeah,
That's
but
all I'm saying.
Rod, it was just, all of this was just, we were asked to make a draft.
Okay.
It was not accepted, it was not, it was just an encased draft because, that is all. And that is why we didn't go further to outline both the summer intercessions. And because there's an argument to some people are saying, if you eliminate the winter, you can have a second intercession in the summer to replace it. But it's really not a replacement because, it's not the same thing. Some of my colleagues were quoting that that you can't do a language class, introduce 1, then 2 for the following intercession. So it's not really the same thing as using the winter intercession.
So at this point, we're not discussing
Yeah.
no winter intercession at all because this committee hasn't dealt with it at all.
Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Going back to the 1 week between the spring and the summer, I just know that some of my colleagues of my department, they were concerned because they said that there was no clarity. They thought that the summer would start right away. Instead now there is this week off. So,
Right, well, we polled the students and the staff and the faculty who participated in last summer, and based on the poll, we made that decision.
yeah, because then some mail were sent out in January, but they weren't sent out to all the faculty. So
We didn't poll all the faculty. We only polled the faculty who had taught
in the
in the
intercession.
intercession.
And that vote was evenly divided
Yeah.
as to whether to have that week or not have it.
Would you like to look at the survey?
No, it wasn't evenly.
Well, by faculty, among faculty it was.
Faculty, most would have 51 to 40,
Something like that.
40%.
Oh, in the poll, you mean, not
Yeah,
in
in
the
the poll,
vote.
yeah.
So the decision was weighted on what students requested.
That's why I abstained.
Well, in our division, in the language division, there was quite a lot of discussion about this because a large part of the majority of the faculty did not want the 1 week, so there was a lot of resistance, and there was also the understanding that people felt that they were not being polled or surveyed, that it was kind of skewed. That was just the reaction in our division. Just wanted to add that, and that's why Locknuth and I abstained too, just like you did.
And for purposes of the record, the committee at its meeting on February 23rd reviewed the results of those surveys, and the committee did vote on the insertion of that week, and the vote was 12 ayes and 3 abstentions. And so, but the committee did review those data from the survey and made the vote last week for that summer break. Any other public comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to...
Just one comment.
I'm sorry.
Just to make it absolutely clear in my brain, this doesn't say out of the question on it. Will this appear and say that the committee discussed it? I mean, we already have a record of the committee having an imaginary discussion about something.
We have
Could we all tear this in half or write no on it or something?
What are we talking about?
I'm talking about the winter intercession, which does not exist but is here in the packet. I mean, I should trust what I'm told, but I've done it before.
Well, we can, and we'll
It's
have...
a silly question.
As far as we're concerned, there is a winter intercession up to this point.
Good.
But we are going to discuss it today also.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move to item number 4, which is review of the proposed 2012-2013 calendar. And as we agreed to, as the committee agreed to at the February 23rd meeting, the calendar which is going to be recommended, we are considering recommending from committee to College Council, is the calendar. For those of you who have copies, it is a calendar which is hidden in the upper left-hand corner, standard calendar with winter. That is the calendar which is under consideration for the committee this morning. We did vet this discussion at our last meeting, and so now the action that needs to be taken is to formally take the vote that we will in fact make this as a formal recommendation to College Council. Absolutely.
Past practice of this committee is to very carefully review this calendar one more time.
Right, and I have a few bits I
Okay.
wanted to bring up.
Okay, so we'll enter the process of reviewing the calendar now. So, Kathy?
Okay, to begin with, on the back page of the calendar, since we are no longer having the Saturday being open from 9 to 1, we're going to be taking that line out under fall 2012 and also in spring 2013. So that will just say online, where it's in the paren saying Saturday services 9 to 1. That's the first change.
So that would be for September 8th
The September 8th date
and the March 2nd
and the March
date?
2nd, yes.
The parenthetical statement is
Yes,
scratched. Is that
scratched.
Why is that?
Well, I believe SLS had their meeting, and I'll let them speak to that. I wasn't involved in that discussion. but
I can
think
share
it's-
some information. Primarily Saturdays, the L building has been open to provide services for admissions and registration, as well as financial aid and counseling. And over this past several semesters, the amount of traffic that we didn't see really didn't warrant the building being open at that time. Additionally, during the times that a Saturday would have normally been open, those are times when the staff really doesn't even want to come in on Saturday. So taking into account the staff's interest as well as the traffic flow, it just didn't seem that there was a lot of big need for us to be open. And that's the primary driver of not having it on Saturday. Additionally, the last day for students to actually drop the course or to add it, they can do that online anyway, so that was the primary reason.
I would like to just make sure, though, that then we do have the opportunity to resolve problems that next week, because especially, say, a Monday-only class that doesn't meet but once before that date.
Yeah,
You know, there's
absolutely.
challenges.
There's always some common sense approaches
Okay.
for extenuating circumstances.
And the last few changes to the front of the calendar with winter, and this is just to be consistent. The changes are going to occur in the middle column. The first one is November, the Thanksgiving holiday. We have written down 22nd, 23rd, but it is pink 22nd through 25th. So my suggestion would be that we have it through the 25th, because the campus, it's denoting that the campus is closed through that period. So, okay. The second one, and this is kind of a large one, December 20th, it is showing as winter vacation, but when you look at the calendar, it starts on the 22nd. So I tried to get some sort of a ruling from HR, because they tend to send something out, but they have not gotten back to me. If it's the 20th, that would be 5 mandatory vacation days, which we've never taken. So it looks like it should be the 22nd is when it begins. Does everybody agree with that?
Yeah, you'd have the 24th, the 25th, and the 31st and 1st as the holidays. One year, we did have to take 4 because of house vacation days, but that was just one time.
Okay.
How things fell, I don't remember.
With the 22nd, okay. And then the last thing is under the middle column, February, Lincoln's birthday. It denotes 15/16, and the campus is closed through the 18th. So what I wrote down is the 15th through 17th, Lincoln's birthday, and then the 18th denoting President's Day. That's what we had last year.
Point of clarification, this is just for me. Do we normally notate in the college calendar Sundays as days when the college is closed? So we denote that?
We have in the past. I brought as far as the pink area here, right.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Just
Okay.
clarification.
I think that's-
Otherwise, people would look at it and they would think that.
And I can pass this around. I
Right.
wrote some from last year.
But, yeah.
Why? Is it because we typically don't do Sunday classes?
Right, it's just when we have a block, so people don't think it's open.
Yeah, and this was last year's, if you want to pass it down. It just shows it followed the same rule.
No, that's fine. That was just a clarification for me.
Okay.
Could we,
And there are Sunday classes.
Thank you. I stand
Sometimes
corrected.
there are.
Okay, I stand corrected. Thank you.
could there be just one line, 15 through 18, as Lincoln's and President's? Or, you know, because that's the way it is on the calendar on the side, 4 days in a row consecutive. Here on the text in the center, we leave out the 17th.
Right, that's why I was saying, did you want to do
No.
15 through 17 and then the 18th as President's? Or do you just want to do 15 through 18th, Lincoln /
Yeah, I'd rather
President?
just do one line.
Okay.
So it would be something like Lincoln's birthday / President's Day?
Yeah.
Okay.
The days will be 15 through 18.
The other thing is April, the spring break week. It has the 15th through 19th, but if you look at the calendar, we've got the 15th through 18th as being classes not in session, and then we go 19th through the 21st as campus closed.
So the 19th should be green. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well,
Because
no.
that's the
No.
the day we have in lieu of Good Friday. So it's it's always a
Yes.
holiday.
So what-
Campus closing is only 4 days.
Right, so what I was, to correlate with what we've got on the actual physical calendar, it should be 15th through 18th as spring break classes not in session. 19th through 21st campus closed, unless you want to have a double thing where you have through the 19th classes.
Yeah, I'd rather do that, because that tells the students clearly that whole week is spring break, and then just let the 19th be in there twice.
The
But it should,
the discrepancy is instructional versus clerical or administrative. Spring break is that entire week.
Mhm.
The day off for classified staff is that Friday, even though instructionally the entire week is off.
yeah. And should we say spring break actually is 15 through 21, because there are Saturday and Sunday classes?
I would,
Mhm.
I would support that, yeah.
So.
So spring break is 15 through 21, and then campus close is 19 through 21.
Yeah, because it would be similar to the December holiday vacation, where it says winter vacation the 22nd through January 1st.
Okay, that's it.
Is it likely for this calendar in 2013 that the whole physical plant will be shut down as it will be over spring break this year? Do we expect that to happen again? Or could we reasonably expect that to happen?
You wouldn't include that here.
Yeah.
Good question, and I really can't answer that. I mean, I don't know, it's a possibility, but I don't have an answer for that. Any other changes to the calendar? Any other see?
I just have one question because we have decided for the Flex Day or Professional Development Day for October 2nd. There has been no more discussion on this. We're just keeping it as a placeholder in here, right?
Correct.
Just to verify. Thank you.
I don't think you want, what I was saying about the numbers, you don't want to distort what are physically approved campus holidays, which is a calendar, whatever we have now, 16, 18. So if we went and put in something that wasn't official, because there are officially approved days that are holidays, and they're in all the contracts, or at least in all the classified contracts, right?
So, committee members, how would you like to go forward? Are you comfortable taking up a vote on this calendar with these changes, or would you rather have it, see it with the changes in place?
I'm good with it now as is.
I would be happy to. I can have Jesus do this in a day and then shoot it to everyone by email. If you would.
So if everyone's comfortable with that, I'll entertain the motion to recommend this calendar to the College Council for the 2012-2013 academic year.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any oppositions? Any abstentions? Okay. This is the calendar that will be recommended to College Council, and the changes will be made, so obviously it will reflect what we just discussed. And then it will go forward to College Council for placement on an upcoming agenda for them for review, and go through that process and then forward to the superintendent president and ultimately to the board. Item number 5, schedule of future meetings. Since the charge of the calendar committee is basically to move through the discussion and make a recommendation to College Council for the 2012-2013 academic year, and since we just successfully completed that task as a quasi-newbie here, my question is schedule of future meetings. is there a need for us to meet, for example, next month in the normal scheduling process? And I'm asking that really not so much as a co-chair, but as a question, how we operated in the past once we got to this point in the discussions.
Well, we got here once before and
Yeah.
started over, so technically we should probably soon be starting the following year. Because we
Yeah.
went through this calendar last year and then we got this far and then everything went.
Because that's what your predecessor did. He dealt with things 2 years in advance.
If I may, from a scheduling perspective, the sooner this gets officially recommended, the better. And I'll give you an example. We're about 75% through the scheduling of the fall term, with beginning and end dates already set, that sort of thing, because we have to. That process starts right now upwards of 9 months in advance. So as soon as this kind of thing can become firm and recommended, the sooner the better. That way, missions and records and scheduling can move forward with what needs to be done with the various divisions and scheduling the scheduled classes.
Okay, you're speaking about the 12-13 calendar, correct?
Yeah, because this involves fall of 12, and the divisions have already gone through both phases of their workup, and the schedule will actually go live on the web in May. So it's always nice to have this sooner in the process, so that we know for a fact, yes, these are the beginning and end dates for the semester.
Well, again, we will get this to Vice President Miller and President Martinez, the co-chairs of College Council, as soon as Cassie's been able to make the changes, and indicating that this is the recommendation, and recommending to College Council that it be put on the next agenda to be vetted there and hopefully approved to go forward. Appreciate that.
Well, for
That's
2013 to 14, is the biggest problem is whether we're going to have a winter or not.
Well, for the next discussion that we will take up as a calendar committee would be the development of the calendar for the 2013-2014 academic year. That would be our next immediate charge. And so we can convene as early as next month to begin that process. And recognize that, again, if discussions go forward and we're given the task of having to develop a schedule that does not have a winter intersession in it, it would have gone through a vetted discussion. And when it gets to us, it will be our charge to place these operational dates within any new construct of the academic calendar, should it come to us. And I want to emphasize, should it come to us, because obviously we don't have the purview of deciding that. But we could definitely meet next month and begin the process of discussions of a 2012-2013, 2013, thank you, 2013-2014 academic calendar, and move forward with the sense that we're going to continue the standard calendar, if you will, with winter. And begin those discussions, and if in fact we find again that it's something other than that, we'll respond to that should it come to this committee for consideration. So, that being said, when will our next regularly scheduled meeting be?
I have it as the 26th.
That's right.
Of April.
So,
Do we, in view of the inevitable controversy that's going to be erupting about this, would it be wise for us to meet more than once a month?
If necessary.
would it be wise?
Yeah.
I will give you a direct answer to a direct question. My sense is yes, it would be wise.
We would have to meet the challenge.
So, yeah, I think it will be wise to do that.
Well, then, can I suggest that we schedule a date in 2 weeks?
No.
Sorry.
I'm not-
Well,
the
we
say
don't
for the
really need to do
12th
it for
of
April, because the next college council meeting is the 25th of April.
Of April.
So we probably wouldn't need to meet before
So-
that.
Before that, okay.
So we're scheduled to meet the very next day.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
when we meet on the 26th, we will know what action College Council
Okay,
would
so
or would
then
not
we
have
could-
taken on this. And so we can then pick up the discussion on the wisdom of your point, and go forward from there if that's amenable.
Sure.
Okay. So if that's agreeable to everyone, the next, we'll have our next meeting on April 26th, 12 noon. And it very likely will be in this room because all of the other larger rooms have been booked. So tentatively, we'll schedule it here. And if it changes, obviously, we'll get that information to the community members in advance. Okay? Anything else? If not, I'll accept a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for adjournment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.